What's the story with getting started with jiu-jitsu? How did that cross over from hockey and jiu-jitsu and strength conditioning? Like, where did that overlap come to life?
Well, growing up, like I said, I developed a lot of relationships with the strength and conditioning coaches. I was not the biggest, fastest, most skilled kid. I needed to separate myself. And so I lived in the gym. And that was really where the inspiration behind strength and conditioning as a profession came from. But I kind of left that on the back burner because I was so deeply ingrained in the hockey world. And then I had a brief experience with jiu-jitsu when I was still playing hockey competitively. In the off season, I trained at Gold Medal Grappling in Virginia, and the pro there was Chris McCrae, who was on The Ultimate Fighter. The head coach, Elijah Harshbarger, it was more wrestling and striking, but there was some jiu-jitsu, and so that was my first taste of it, and I loved it. It was great, but there wasn't a lot of it where I was. And if you fast forward, after my competitive career was over, like I played a little bit in college, and then once I finished college, I was kind of done. I wanted to learn something new, and I wanted that team atmosphere. I wanted that competitive vibe. I needed something to satisfy that competitive craving. And so I was like, well, I had boxed before. I had done a lot of striking, but I didn't want to get hit in the head anymore. I didn't think that was probably the right call. And so jiu-jitsu was like the next thing on the list. And I started to look up, schools in my area in San Jose. Start to see names attached to those. I see Kyotera. I'm like, who's this guy? I look him up, like 12-time world champion. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And it's not just like an affiliate school. It's no knock on affiliates, but it's like his school, and he's in the gym, and he's a part of the community there. And so being able to learn from somebody at that level on more or less a daily basis was truly enticing for me. And so right then and there, I signed up, and I've been an absolute addict ever since. It'll be 8 years in March.
Nice. Do you think that any of the jiu-jitsu experience helps with hockey players? As being a coach, you being a coach and even playing hockey, do you think there's that translation that would help hockey players as far as physical ability?
I think there's something to be said for varied athletic experience, and it's something that when I was coaching hockey, would preach to players all the time, is like, play as many sports as you can, as often as you can, up until, you really shouldn't start specializing until maybe 15, 16 years old. That way you've got a broader athletic base. And I'll say this as an aside. One of the kids I used to coach at 11 years old, his name's Aiden Valencia, and he will be, I am certain of it, an Olympic wrestler. At that age, like at 11 years old, he won nationals for 12-year-olds, like the 12-year-old bracket and a weight class up in wrestling. And he was one of the best athletes I've ever seen. And I say that to answer your question. I think it helps. I think playing a contact sport, especially one like jiu-jitsu or wrestling or judo or whatever it is, helps so much with core stability, core strength, proprioception, not being afraid of contact. Because when he moved from 11 to 12 years old and they start checking on the ice, he was already primed. Like, he'd already been doing that. It wasn't anything new to him. So I think there's I think there's a lot of value in training other sports to train, to get better at the sport that you want to get at, that you want to get better at.